Hello, my name is Megan Allan and I graduated in 2022 from Glasgow Caledonian University. I then went on to become a healthcare paralegal at Clyde & Co, where I still am at the moment, and I've been there for almost 2 years. During that time, I've completed my diploma. In September, I will be moving on to start a new position as an employment paralegal for the next year before I start my traineeship.
Hi, my name's McLintock. I graduated from the University of Aberdeen in 1985 and was admitted in 1988. I was a partner in McGregor Donald and then Penn St Masons, specialised in banking law and then moved into risk and knowledge management. I've always been interested in the regulation of legal services, so joined the Law Society Council many moons ago, and I was president of the Law Society in 2015 to 2016. Well, if I'm being really honest, I loved English, but I didn't really know what I would do with an English degree. And my mother said, "Christine, you'd be a really good lawyer." So I went and did law. But from day one, I was captivated by the subject of law, and I loved it from day one.
The main reason that I was inspired to study law was my family lawyer, who was involved in the early stages of my adoption process. She was committed to helping to make sure that I had the best care, and that stayed with me throughout my whole legal career, and it's something that I will carry with me forever. But besides that, I realised that my skills lay in English and modern studies, and admittedly I was a bit stubborn and argumentative, so I realised that law made sense for me, and that's the reason I went down that route.
So Megan, I see a tube.
You do. This is my degree that I acquired in 2022 from the Glasgow Caledonian, and it's my LLB, which I'm very proud to have in my hand. I'm still waiting for my diploma, and I'll be getting that in November.
Lovely. And does it have pride of place in your flat?
It actually lives at my mum's house. It has been collecting dust though, so I'm not sure she's been looking after it, so I might just have to take it home.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I brought this because it just makes me smile. It's a very precious photograph of Ailey Wiseman, Ailey Cameron in her maiden name, and myself. Ailey and I started our traineeship in the same day in the same office in Glasgow in 1988. At the end of our private practice careers, Ailey joined the Law Society Council, and she was the vice president the year I was president, and I was her past president when she was president. So we started our careers together and kind of finished our careers together. She's a great friend, a wonderful woman, and it's just the best photo.
It's a lovely picture.
I think the main barrier can be finance. And it always has been. And obviously that's one of the reasons that the Lawscot Foundation was set up, to help talented students from less advantaged backgrounds, to help them achieve their aspirations.
I know myself, without having the Lawscot Foundation, it simply wouldn't have been possible to reach where I am today. And I'm very fortunate to be in that position, and I hope that as the industry progresses, that the network that we can offer help to expands. I've just been so lucky to have the opportunity to be sponsored by the Lawscot Foundation, having the opportunity to go into firms, meet people, do work experience placements, just building connections, and of course the financial support was literally life-changing. It really isn't an overstatement to say that. So can you tell me a little bit about your driving factor for creating the foundation?
Many years before the Law Society of Scotland had invested in Legal Post, which was a document delivery service between solicitors. That company was sold on, and as a shareholder, I think it was around £250,000, came to the Law Society. And there was a question around, well, what do we do with that? And there were a number of us that were saying, do you know what, we could do something really important with this money for the benefit of the profession as a whole, and that is to set up a charity to support students from less advantaged backgrounds to allow them to study law and become Scottish solicitors. So we took that proposal to council and everyone was, yeah, this is good, this is what we should do. In 2017, when we were really getting into the swing of how are we going to do this, I was no longer president and I was asked if I would chair the charity, which was a great honour, and it's just been fantastic. And I'll miss it greatly when I step down.
My advice would be that if you're considering a career and think that it's too challenging, I would say that there is so many options, such as going down the college route or a paralegal academy, and getting those in-person connections with people is what's really helped me to progress in my career. And I would say that look into every alternative option if the traditional route of going down the LLB and diploma is not for you.
I think my advice would be to work hard at making connections, meaningful connections. One of my concerns at the moment is a lack of connection. People working from home or remotely, or not really being together with colleagues in the office. Also, I think for young lawyers, the one thing that I enjoyed most about private practice was the connection with clients, face-to-face meetings. If you look at the nature of the type of people who go into law, I think social isolation is really quite damaging.
Everyone I've spoken to has said that at one point in their career, or maybe at all points in their career, they feel like an imposter, even in the role that they're in, or to progress further, they feel that it's a deterrent and holds them back. But yeah, for me to know that people at the highest level do suffer from it, then it makes it easier for me to cope with, to know that.
With my husband and I, we talked about it a lot over the years, and it's quite interesting because if one of you takes the dip, the other one could say, "Oh, come on, get over yourself." you know you can do this. Don't be ridiculous. But yeah, everyone, I think, and it is partly around the type of people who are attracted by the study and practice of law, not generally risk takers, but very, very thoughtful. I said in 2015, 2016 maybe, I went to a lecture by a psychologist, I think, Dr. Larry Richards, and it blew me away. He'd done a massive study of professionals and the personality types of professionals. He had over 42,000 data sets, and he said all of the professions were pretty much, within a mean, except for what he called the stunning outliers, and those were the lawyers, and they were, in his view, atypical. Very low resilience, the lowest resilience of any professional, lawyers. 90% of lawyers score below the 50th percentile in resilience.
That's interesting.
They find criticism very difficult. They're very high achieving and they expect a lot of themselves.
Yeah, and not being able to take criticism well sort of feeds into the area of imposter syndrome, because they think that they're such high achievers, but then it's the two ends of the coin, I suppose, that you think you really want to be high achieving, but also not believing that you can be. So it's trying to strike that balance, I suppose, that's the problem. But yeah, they're interesting statistics. Over the next 75 years and over the time of my legal career, I would hope to see a shift of people from non-traditional backgrounds in the legal industry coming through. From my experience of the Lawscot Foundation, I'm aware that there's so many other people in the same pool of us that are in need of help, and I hope that everyone that deserves to be part of the legal profession can be.
Well said. Well said. I couldn't put it better myself. Yeah, I would like there to be further progress to ensure that our profession accurately reflects the diversity of the people that we serve. We're making progress, but there's a lot of work still to be done. But yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say as well.